Hey, Steve Saretsky here. I wanted to put together a quick video on the October market report. Basically, the numbers that I'm finding, what I'm seeing on the streets, feet on the ground. I'm going to cover the detached market, condo, and townhouse market. Important to note that all three of them are extremely different. As I mentioned before, previous posts, previous blogs, the detached market took off about 4 to 6 months ahead of the condo and townhouse market. I expect the same in a correction, and that's what we're seeing right now. I'm going to start with the detached market. So it remains, we're now in the third consecutive buyer's market for the detached. Despite what the board says or what the realtors might tell you, we are not at normal levels for sales. Sales are not returning to normal levels. They're actually way below normal levels. If you actually look over the last 10 years from 2005 to 2015, an area like the east side of Vancouver is actually at the fewest number of sales of any October on record. Even worse than October of 2008 during the financial crisis. So sales are extremely low. They are not at normal levels. I think I have the east side of Vancouver down about, it's about 54% below normal October levels. If you actually take the last 10 years, add them all up, get your average. I think October average, if you average it out, should be around 143 sales for Vancouver East Side. This month was 66. You're seeing the same thing in other areas, Richmond, Burnaby, Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver, which combines all the areas of Metro Vancouver. Those are around mirroring 2008 levels. They're not quite that low, but they're the second lowest on record. So with that, you have months of inventory stacking up. I think Richmond right now is at 12 months of inventory. The board quantifies a buyer's market as anything above 6 months. So not seeing a huge influx of inventory, but the old stuff is just stacking up. And so I think if you have more sellers rushing and panicking to the market and start listing their homes, that could create a chaotic atmosphere for the market, because like I said, right now sales are extremely low, even with extremely low inventory levels. So that's definitely a bit of concern if we see an influx of inventory, because I don't expect the demand to pick up anytime soon. With that, in terms of prices, you talk to most realtors, the general consensus is prices have corrected anywhere from 10 to 15% depending on your area. It just depends on what price. Like, this is just like feet on the ground, they'll tell you 10-15%. How do you look at that? Do you look at the average sale price, the median sales price, or the MLS benchmark? All three are completely different. The average and median fluctuate month to month, so it's hard to look at it and go, okay, prices up or down, because they fluctuate every single month. It just depends on what's getting sold. Whereas the benchmark is delayed. I've looked at it, it's been delayed up to sometimes 6 months. If you look at the Vancouver East Side, it's telling me last month in September that they set a new price record, which everybody knows is not true. You look in September, there were a ton of reductions. So I like to use the median sales price. I find it's generally the most accurate. You can draw a pretty good conclusion from it. It's got the east side of Vancouver peaking in June. It's now down as of October 13%. I think that's pretty much in line with what I'm seeing in the price reductions and sale prices. And then you even have, so if you want to group it all together, REBGV, Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver, all the areas combined, and they have detached prices down 10% from its peak to right now in October. So yeah, the detached market's getting hit hard right now. But I want to shift the attention now into the condo market. Condo market basically saw much of the same in October as they did in September. Sales again were very low, but new listings actually dropped off a lot. Inventory remains extremely low levels. Like, I'm talking like 50% below normal levels. So the inventory remains low, but what's encouraging is that the sales to active ratio, which measures demand, it's dropping a little bit, which is surprising. It's not much. I mean, it is dropping. It's not much, but it's dropping despite extremely low inventory levels, which is telling me that there's obviously a lot less demand. There's a lot less buyers out there right now. You look at it, It's been dropping for quite some time now. I think back in March it was around 80-85% in Vancouver West Side condos. I think it's now in October it's down to around 34%. So it seems to be leveling off, but it's leveling off even as inventory levels actually drop. So that's telling me that the demand is leaving the condo market. Depending on what areas you looked at, again, you have to use kind of the median sales price. I have condos down, and the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver is telling me the median price is down 4%, and Vancouver West Side is down about 5%. And that kind of reflects in terms of what I'm seeing. I think that's pretty accurate. And then, but yeah, again, still the sales to active ratio and basically all the months of inventory levels are all reflective of a seller's market. So they're all telling me that it's a seller's market. I still agree that the condo market favors the sellers, and that is mostly because there's such little inventory. Despite the few buyers that are out there, there's not a whole lot to choose from. So I think if you want to see a serious downward pressure on prices, you're going to have to see like a lot of buyers leave. Like the remaining buyers, the few buyers that are left are really going to have to leave, which is possible. But more realistically, you're going to have to see an influx of inventory. Like the inventory levels right now are just way too low. That moves into the townhouse market. The townhouse market seems to be correcting a little bit more right now than the condo market, most likely because of price point. I've mentioned before, I think it was in a previous blog and video, that CMHC quantifies 30% of your pre-tax income as affordable housing. You shouldn't be spending any more than that. You can't buy a townhouse in Metro Vancouver or Greater Vancouver for under $400,000. So I can think that's probably why they're correcting first. With that being said, all the areas that I've looked at, the main areas, Richmond, Burnaby, Vancouver East, REB, GV, are showing me that it's still technically a seller's market for the townhouse market. But what I can tell you is basically it's the good stuff is selling. The stuff that's less desirable is having a harder time selling. We're getting very close to a balanced market. Definitely not a buyer's market, but a more balanced market. A lot less multiple offers. And for the first time, which I found interesting, is the Vancouver West townhouses. Fewest sales since 2008. And they actually hit a balanced market for the first time. First time since I think it was November of 2014. We've basically been in a seller's market for Vancouver townhouses, Vancouver West Side townhouses, since November of 2014. They've just hit, quote unquote, a balanced market by the board. So that's at 19% sales to active ratio. And months of inventory is around 5.3, I believe. So anything over 4, between 4 to 6 is a balanced market. So Vancouver West townhouses are the first to move. I suspect the other areas will follow suit. Again, this is with low inventory levels again in the Vancouver West townhouses, but the sales, just nobody's buying them right now. So I think if you see an influx of inventory, that should bring it into a buyer's market soon. Expect the townhouses to change as well, and I think let's just see. You want to see the prices? Yeah, I think townhouse prices are roughly about the same too as condos. They're down about 5% right now. So it's interesting times for sure. I think everybody's kind of expecting like, okay, well, the condo and townhouse market, why is it not correcting? What's taking so long? I just want to stress this again. We're literally just coming off arguably probably the hottest market on record in Vancouver real estate history. Massive price gains, excessive demand. For this market to correct, it's not going to happen overnight. We've now, like I mentioned, we've only been in a buyer's market for the detached side for 3 months now. Condo and townhouse markets are still in sellers. We're just starting to hit balanced markets in part of the townhouse market. Like I said, on the way up, condos and townhouses lagged. I expect them to lag in a correction on the way down. You're going to need to see more than just 3 months of a buyer's market to see a serious lean and a serious correction in prices. But I think, detached 10 to 15% in what has only been about 4 months. I mean, that's a pretty significant correction as is. And condos and townhouses down roughly about 5% over the last couple months. It's just beginning, like I said, and I think if you really want to see a downwards pressure on the prices, you'll have to see an influx of inventory in the condos and townhouse markets. So look for that. That's the October market report. I got all the graphs, the stats, the charts on my website, on my blog at vancitycondoguide.com. I'm going to put the link below in the description here, so you can go and take a look at that, and that should give you a little more information. I got a ton of stuff for you there to digest. But anyways, hope that helped. Thanks a lot.